Hi, it's June 10th, and I'm sorry for a day late. It's Tuesday, June 10th, but yesterday I went to the Toronto Zoo with the kids and the family, and that took up most of the day. And I also tried to get up some files that I created earlier in the week, posted, which I'll be referring to within this update. So three things. First, the open house, the Heritage Inventory Project that was held on June 3rd, the demolition of James Street Baptist Church, and the 24-hour film festival. So first up, after about a year's work, the Hamilton City staff came up with the inventory list of heritage potential properties. And then what this was trying to do is, since an amalgamation, or prior to amalgamation, each area, Ancaster, Hamilton, Stony Creek, the Mountain, Flamborough, and that all had their own Waterdown, all had their own criteria for what should go on a heritage designated list or not, or what was heritage worthy. There was no consistent criteria for the entire region now that's under Hamilton jurisdiction. So partly to address that, also partly to update a rationale for what gets added and what might not be, what would be added or not added to the list, they came up with a new criteria. Then, as a pilot project, they looked at the downtown core, which is essentially the area surrounding Gore Park, and looked at how that would actually play out in practice. And they came up with about 1,000 buildings that would go on the list. I think about 970 are thereabouts. Excellent effort by the part of staff on this, and it was a very informative open house meeting. And I have a video, a 5x5 video clip of the evening, just to give you an impression of the sights and sounds of it. So a very good effort on the part of the city staff regarding that, and hopefully City Council will put the necessary resources and efforts and make it a priority to roll this out for the entire city. For an individual like myself, what's great is now I have a list, at least in the downtown core, of what buildings are 1840s or 50s or 60s or 1880s, that sort of thing. So when I'm going around trying to create artwork based on these buildings, I have a bit of a thumbnail guide to go around and capture these structures in my artwork. So that's a really great thing for me personally. So that was that was a very nice evening. The same evening I went out and did an update on the James Street Baptist Church, and as at that time they had started removing the roof and started tearing a bit down from the walls at the top, and it really didn't look like it was going to last long. And true enough, by Friday morning early, I had friends, and I put photographs on the blog site, friends who were downtown at the time. At 7 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. they were really on their way of demolishing the 80% of the building that has been deemed an alteration in the features of that building, essentially a partial, almost complete demolition of the James Street Baptist Church. And there's been again a lot of talk about this, and I've been talking about this for some time now. And Raise the Hammer had an article with some photos of the demolition that was going on Friday. A lot of people were expressing concern about it being demolished, that sort of thing. And it was alluded into the article, but no one really picked it up, is that really the problem here is, like, the developer is a developer. The developer has certain visions and desires to do it. Don't ask a cat to change into a dog. It's not going to happen. The issue here is, what about the city checks and balances? Where's that? And again, as I've been going on and on and on about, essentially what happened here was the Heritage Permits Committee deemed this to be okay because they accepted the information presented by the developer that the church was in danger of falling down and was causing a public safety hazard. Even though that's not really their mandate, that's what they went forward on, as best as I can gather from the video that Joey Coleman has put forward on his website and at the time. So you know, and then based on the fact that it was not a demolition permit but an alteration permit, it bypassed the full Heritage Committee, which has city councilors on it, the Planning and Economic Development Committee, which has city councilors on, and as far as I'm aware, it also bypassed city council. Apparently what happened, and this is, you know, I may be wrong in my facts, and if I am, I apologize, but my understanding is the Director of Economic Planning okayed it because it was a partial alteration. So the whole check and balances for protecting heritage sites, designated buildings, was bypassed. And again, if this is standard practice, this gives a hell of a lot of power to a volunteer committee and staff. And I really, at the end of the day, you know, all the politicians can turn around and say, not me, no me, I did not do this. This was done by staff and community volunteers. So for me, again, as I've said before, I'm not really opposed to what the developer is doing, but I am opposed to how we got to where we are today. And my concern is for the Hermitage ruins out in Ancaster, and for the Kerr building downtown, and whatever future site that would happen. You know, everyone's going around trying to designate heritage buildings at schools to protect them from getting torn down, and that you know, that's actually a worthy goal. And then there's a concern about the guy who wants to maybe put a parking lot or a parking area on his property, you know, and they're using heritage designations to protect it. Well, if these people know anything about what's happened in the past, they have nothing to fear, because the permits committee is going to give them the ability to make alterations to property to eventually remove the heritage designated building. They're there as our voice to protect heritage designated buildings, not to facilitate their destruction. And again, I'm totally baffled by the fact that there's been so little attention paid to this and to the decision-making process. That is the part that really needs to change. The developers will slowly come on board as they realize it's more and more profitable to maintain and use and incorporate heritage designated buildings. But at the moment, if the process, you know, there's other developers that are not coming to the table with that kind of mindset, and we need to create a pause for them to realize that they're throwing out good value that could be really benefiting them financially. So anyhow, I do find it very strange, and about the lack of attention of the whole process, opposed to whether the James Street Baptist Church should come down or not come down. You know, so there's that. So my third point today, this week, is the Hamilton 24-Hour Film Festival. I entered it with my team, Fat Cats Starving Dogs. Asked some of my friends to help me out in this, and it really was quite exciting and quite fun, and I think we did a damn good job. I've only been doing the DSR filming since December, and this is basically a way of promoting awareness as me as an artist, and my interest in architecture, both historical and contemporary, and to get to create an awareness of my art. I'm not here to sell things, I'm here to just promote awareness. The challenge for an artist is, you know, you only get into a gallery every 2 or 3 years. You might get in at the Christmas shows, but overall, you know, your exposure to the public is very limited, and so you toil away in your studio and you're forgotten about. So this is my way of trying to create that awareness, and as sort of a byproduct, as a way of sort of energizing my efforts in filmmaking, I decided to get involved in the Hamilton 24-Hour Film Festival. Now, I think we did a really damn good job. We really came up with a good story. I was finally able to break through that mental barrier block on storyboarding. I was able to do a really good story that really helped us officially set up and take down for each of the scenes and each of the shots, keep on track. I had a really great group of volunteers that came with me on the project, and I think we really did a very good job at the end of the day. However, the competition's intense. There's one group, unless I'm wrong, but it's from the photos I saw on the web, what I see is a Blackmagic 4K camera, and that is some serious equipment. That's if it's the full edition, that's $10,000 at least. So, and I think there's a couple guys who produce ads and commercials and short films in the area. So they, at least I think in at least 2 cases, they actually have full-fledged photo editing equipment studio setup. So meanwhile I'm sitting in Tim Hortons on my laptop using my Adobe Premiere editing software to put together my 2.5 minute movie for this. So nevertheless, it's a first tryout, and my goal is to make it into excuse me, up in the top 10, and with any luck we'll be able to get there. I don't think the folks who are trying for number 1, 2, or 3 are in any danger from us. But if we could get into the top 10, that'd be great. Now, from what I understand, 35 teams started off on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Only 27 were able to submit by 9 a.m. the next morning on Sunday morning, and so then out of 27 we only have to get into is the top 10. So that's really what we're aiming for this year around. Next year then we'll go for gold, but for this year we're just aiming to try to get into the top 10. So that's where we are at this week, and again, thank you for dropping by, and next week I'll let you know the results of the gala, which happened on Friday night at the bingo hall, the old Kresge's or not Kmart, but I forget the 10 and the 5 and dime store. It's at Houston and King William. That's where we're going to be having the gala, starting at 7:30 starts the doors open, 9 o'clock 9 to 11 the film. So I'm planning to go, and so hopefully we'll have the results of the competition for you next Monday or Tuesday for you. So thanks very much again for dropping by. Until next time, take care. Bye.